Welcome to Central Colorado Springs Advice Givers Podcast, where we meet the movers and shakers of Colorado Springs. Today's featured thought leader has two main passions: architecture and board games. He offers interesting Colorado Springs city history and excellent advice for touring iconic local architecture. And he shares updates on current significant local building projects. He also provides a cool itinerary for the ideal first day in Colorado Springs. Finally, if you liked playing board games as a kid, or if you have kids, or if you need new ideas for fun games to play with the family, our guest, an avid board game player and collector, shares a trove of information about the best new and fun board games you should try. If you take notes, you'll have enough games to last you the whole year. Please welcome local board game expert and architect with Stephen Hall Architects, Ben Kubczak.
Let's continue your overview of Colorado Springs architecture projects upcoming and what we can look forward to.
Absolutely. So like I said, we do a lot of work with the higher ed campuses, and UCCS in particular is just building like gangbusters. They have so much construction that's been going on. They added on to the rec center. They have the visual and fine arts center under construction, the Lane Center that I mentioned, the medical center. They just built the academic office building, which is it's several stories tall. I think it's about almost 10 stories, I think, maybe 8 or 9 stories. That's right along Austin Bluffs that just went up a couple of years ago. They're also developing trails going through their campus in conjunction with the Parks and Rec department, which is a really nice location. They have a lot of rough trails right now going up on the mesa and kind of around where the radio towers are and everything, but they're developing those more. So that's really neat to see. They did the Alpine Village dormitories. Those are all just finishing up construction. That's CSNA Architects from Colorado Springs who did that design. And then, there's an interesting project that we inspected at UCCS that was the Hellre Arts Center, and it's kind of out in the open area next to Pulpit Rock, like kind of back far away from Nevada. But it was really interesting. They had an art professor, I believe, who had kind of like a colony of artists, and they just kind of went out into this undeveloped area and built some houses out of adobe with like log roof structures and boulders and stuff, and they just kind of built it, not really knowing a lot about construction and everything. And so there was this cluster of like little odd adobe buildings that the university wanted to renovate and turn into like a little art gallery and some offices back there. And it's basically a historical structure at this point, because I think they were built like, I forget how old they were. They were built in like the 1930s or something like that. So we had to kind of, we had to review and inspect that project, and it was an odd project to just try and get the structural engineer to work on it and kind of say, well, we think they built this with some rocks, and we think this is the load-bearing capability of that, and here are calculations demonstrating it. It was just a challenge for the design team, and rightly so. But it was really beautiful when they finished renovating these buildings. So and not many people know about that because it's so far back in the woods. But if you see on North Nevada, there's a sign that says the Hellre Fine Arts Center. It's kind of a cool little area to take a look at sometime, and there are some local hiking trails that kind of go through that area too. And then Colorado College is another campus we have here in town that's been doing a lot of renovation lately. There are a couple of interesting buildings on Colorado College's campus. One is the Van Brigel Pottery Building in Monument Park. If you've ever noticed that, it's a building that has these big clay tile smokestacks coming out of it, and like all of this artistic tile on the outside of the building. It's just it's shuttered up, and I think it's used by the facilities department for something. But on the outside, it's a really cool building that I like a lot. And there's also the Cornerstone Art Center, which is along Cascade. It's that modern building used for I believe dancing is performing arts. And that's designed by Antoine Predock, who's one of these star architects who goes all over the world building cool buildings. So it's architects will appreciate that there's a celebrity architect building, I guess, in town. And then also Pikes Peak Community College is doing a lot of renovation and addition on their campus buildings. They have the Centennial campus on the south side of town, and Rampart Range on the north side of town, and they have their downtown campus and their Falcon satellite campus. So they just have all kinds of projects that they're constantly doing, and they're a client we really like working with from all aspects. That's one of the clients who we've gotten to do some good design project work for right now. We're looking at renovating their kind of student grove suite, they call it, where student government and is housed, and students coming to the campus kind of get some of their orientation work done there. We did an addition to their Building C building, which I think turned out really nice. If you're driving past the Centennial campus on South Academy and you're looking at the building, there's kind of a glass box that's built out on the side, and that's the addition that we did. And we so it's kind of the face of the campus when you're coming in from the interstate on South Academy, and we renovated that building to give them their new campus bookstore and their veterans office suite, which just turned out really nice. If anyone's ever in the area, it's a nice little addition to take a walk through. And then also there's the Colorado School of the Deaf and the Blind, which has some incredibly cool old historical buildings, and they've had some new buildings get constructed out there. I believe RTA is working on a renovation right now. They did a building addition a few years ago, and they've really done a good job to kind of match everything up with the character of that campus. So when I was inspecting, I got to walk through basically every building on that campus, and it just has some cool character. When you see the old photos of Colorado Springs, and where Nikola Tesla had his workshop set up, it was like right next to the oldest building on the Colorado School of Deaf and Blind's campus there. And so it's been around there for a while. Let's see. So those are some cool local campuses. Some other cool projects that I've heard about. The Springs Rescue Mission has a facility that's going to be constructed by Nunn Construction is the developer, and RTA is the designer. And that's really going to go a long way to addressing homeless people who have a need for a place to sit and sleep and eat and do their laundry, and just get a leg up in just kind of getting a career going and stuff. So it's a really good local charity that I'm glad we have in town. It was recently approved by the Colorado Springs City Council to with an additional $2.5 million going for that city. And I guess they have an estimate that there are over 240 homeless people who are sleeping outside every day. So it's great that it's not a problem that's just trying to be swept under the rug, I guess. I really love Ivy Wild, the Ivy Wild School redevelopment, which I'm sure you've gone to, and most locals have gone to, but just taking that old school and opening up the hallways and putting a brewery and a cafe and a store in there, that's really neat. The Fennel Group was the architect who did that. And I was actually, as a callback to one of your previous episodes, I was reading in Springs Magazine, the latest issue. There's a similar project going up on right by our office at the Lincoln Elementary School, where they're going to try and do something similar. They already have a brewery lined up, and I believe an architecture firm is going to move their offices in, and they have other components that will hopefully just kind of revitalize that area on the north end of Cascade, which, like I said, it would be really nice to just walk over there from my office after work and get a beer. And another part of that development is they're finally going to connect the Shooks Run Trail with the Greenway Trail, which I've always been hoping that they would finally complete that link so you can get a nice loop around downtown on the trail system. So that's an exciting project. There are some developments on Interquest, the Interquest Expressway, that have been sitting vacant since the last economy crash in 2008. And I have heard that there are groups that are looking into revitalizing these abandoned shells of projects that just ran out of money. So I'm really happy that we'll finally get some blights cleared up on the north side of town too. So that's good to hear about. And I don't know, there's just there's a lot going on, and those are kind of the things that have come across my radar. And people are always thinking of new ideas to bring to the city and everything. Like, maybe we could get another little Tesla museum or exhibit worked into the downtown area. I think that would be a great tourism amenity to have too.
So you mentioned a lot of projects going on, having been built, upcoming. What's your favorite building in town?
Oh, wow. It's probably